Hello. Hello and welcome to Spaced Out Sunday. Today we're doing something very special. We're going to be playing some Pathfinder. And, honestly, let's just switch right to it. There we go. Now we can see all the boys. All right. Hold on. Let's get to it. Straight into it. Welcome to Spaced Out Sunday. We are doing...
Probably because I'm a dangerous sociopath with a long history of violence. Oh. I don't understand how you keep forgetting that.
That's right. We've got blurps. If I pause dramatically suddenly, know that it's probably because someone's played a blurp in my stream. I can give you guys the blurp link if you also want to be physically interrupted by such things. Oh my gosh, I need to get this out of here. So here's my old D&D thing. Still got my old characters in here. We're gonna get rid of all those. Welcome to Pathfinder 2nd edition, our newbie campaign. It's called Menace Under Otari, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. You know me, I'm the Cal Dinosaur. You see me on this channel playing video games sometimes, but now I'm going to be playing Pathfinder. Hi. I've got with me some fine fellows who will hopefully introduce themselves one at a time without talking over each other. Let's start with Graskell.
I'm Mongoose. Oh.
I was starting at the top. I was starting at the top. No, you're not. Stop that. Stop that. Don't you dare mention that name ever again on this stream. Okay. Actually, if you want to know who Zip the Blade Tweaker is, you can check out my older VODs and videos, because he's in there, back there somewhere. But yeah, Graskell.
I'm Graskell, and I'll be playing Janrik the Spirit Bard.
I'm over you already. Mr. Zeg.
Hi, Mr. Zeg. I'll be playing QW Heartbone.
QW Heartbone, the Alchemist. We'll go over some character introductions here in a little bit. Mongoose.
I'm Mongoose, and I'll be playing the Lizardfolk Cleric Seleucus.
Soul Knife.
I'm Soul Knife, or Tom. If you guys follow Game Society Pimps, I've been on their stream a couple of times. I will be playing a Dampier Summoner, but I won't be one of those weird emo goth Dampiers, because those guys suck, and no one wants to fucking see me be edgy.
He's just going through a phase.
The edgiest. And last but certainly not least, Sarti.
Yes, that's me. I'm Sadi Fartblast, and I am playing a Hobgoblin fighter called Bob.
Excellent.
Bob Zoblin. Hobgoblin.
Excellent. So we're going to jump right into this thing. And I'm going to start off by reading our intro. Various episodes of Beer and Board Games. I forgot about that. I need to get on Beer and Board Games. That's like the thing I haven't done yet. I've been on the GSP stream lots of times. I've been on various GSP shows as well, but never anything with Blame Society. That's something that one of the things I need to do. We'll see. We'll look into that. But for now, let's start this adventure, shall we? Everyone on the edge of their seats and happy and ready to go.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm standing up. I don't even have a seat. That's how ready I am.
Oh my gosh. Okay. The small seaside town of Otari is known for its fresh fish and its skilled sailors. But above all else, it's a big logging town, providing valuable wood to the nearby metropolis of Absalom. But for our plucky group of heroes, Otari is home. They grew up playing on the docks, trading with the sewer leshies. We'll get into that later. And, just called this place their home and grew up here. Tales of Adventure seemed so far away. That is, until today. Through one means or another, each of our heroes has received a letter. Word has begun to spread around Otari that there's a problem down at the Otari fishery, and some are saying that some sort of beast is lurking in the basement of said fishery, feeding on the stores of salted fish. Folks are worried that whatever is eating the fish might get hungry enough to start eating the fishermen next. You've received a letter from Tamily Tanderville, the owner of the fishery. Inside is a desperate plea for help. With the town guard busy protecting the loggers, she needs a few brave souls to venture down into the basement of her warehouse and put an end to the beast that's feasting on her fish. She requests that you meet at a specific time, noon, outside of the fishery today. Thank you so much, Sarti, for your follow. There's something fishy going on indeed. So, we're going to pick up our starting scene outside of the fishery at noon. So, it's a standard drab building with a dock out back leading out into the ocean. That allows for fishing and some net fishing. You see some small boats parked back there as well. The building itself is nondescript and very basic. It smells heavily of fish. Surprise, surprise. And I want to go down the line and have everyone introduce their characters as they are walking into this scene, or whether they might have already been here ahead of time, or whatever. I'm going to let you guys just kind of go at this one. I'm not going to call out names. So someone begin.
Leogus probably got the letter indirectly. I imagine it was sent to the temple of the Dawnflower Library, as it's called. And they know that he's less about sermonizing and more about actually doing things, smiting evil. So they probably would have invited him to go along.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine that he just walks along pretty early, gets there as soon as he can, and waits outside to see who else turns up.
Okay.
And if he might recognize them.
Okay, so Seleucos, if people were going to be walking up and seeing Seleucos waiting outside of the fishery for other people to show up, I assume he shows up a little early, like earlier in the morning, and is just kind of hanging out. What would they see if they were to see Seleucos standing there?
They would see a lizard folk wearing chainmail. He's got a wooden sun symbol of Sarenrae around his neck.
Humongous
He's and mostly bright green. A few yellow, a few orange scales. He stands out quite a lot.
Excellent. He stands out quite a lot. Would anyone else have shown up early?
Probably QW Heartbone.
Heartbone might have shown up early. All right. So, Heartbone, you're walking over to the fishery, and as you approach, you see Seleucos, this large lizard. You've probably seen around town maybe once or twice. What does Seleucos see as you approach?
QW Heartbone, or Heartbone for short, is an olive-skinned goblin with freckles of darker green. Is dressed in a mismatched suit that was probably made up of components intended for children, and carries a polished, lacquered black cane. On his belt are various pouches, and you see the glow of lesser alchemical fire on some belt loops.
Excellent. So, we have our first 2 heroes have shown up. Who shows up next?
Phil the Short, slinking behind him.
Phil slinks behind him. What is this? What does Phil look like?
Phil is your shorter than average human. Covered head to foot in either his armor or bandages or whichever you can see. It depends when you see him, if you see him.
Okay.
But Heartbone said that there might be a profitable job and he can't say no to money.
Okay. What kind of equipment does it seem like Phil is carrying?
Well, he's pulled out what looks like a very old dagger, and there is what looks like a sheeted, heavily obscurely covered rapier on his back.
Okay. So he's armed, but probably the slinky, sneaky kind of type of guy.
Yeah.
Okay. So far we've got our lizard folk cleric of Sarenrae, a goblin alchemist, and a human rogue type guy. Excellent. Any interactions between your characters so far, or do we get interrupted by yet another hero walking up?
Yeah.
So
Oh, interrupted.
What?
No, denied. No, go ahead. Soul Knife, I want you to go ahead and introduce your character if your character is walking up.
I walk up. The somewhat tall, pale human walks up and kind of yawns and stretches a little bit. Rubs the sleep out of his eyes because he was taking a nap before he decided to come over here. He's wearing traveler's clothes, kind of like an explorer's jacket. It's a very thick looking jacket, and he's wearing a hood as well. But the hood's pulled back right now. He's got short white hair, red eyes, slightly pointed ears, and from what you can see, it looks like he might have longer than normal canines, but you can't really tell for sure. He's carrying a long spear, and that's about it.
Yeah. Okay. Kind of a mystery man. Not really sure what he's capable of just yet. But we'll, I'm sure, get to see some of that. So we have, so far, Seleucos, Phil, Heartbone, and a thus unnamed pale human man, who I'm sure we'll get to introductions here in a minute, as our last hero walks up.
Good old Bob. Well, Bob isn't walking up. Bob is waking up because he spent last night drunk up against the wall of this fishery place. That's
Bob was
the place he likes to sleep.
So Bob was earlier than everyone.
He's earlier than everyone, but not for any of the right reasons. He actually didn't receive the letter. He is just waking up here.
He just happens to be here.
Asleep and is wondering what the hell is all these people disturbing his slumber.
Excellent. Okay.
At the early hour of day.
Of noon. The crack of noon. Okay. So Bob is waking up and stands up. What does everyone see?
Everyone sees a somewhat disheveled hobgoblin. He's a little over 5 feet tall, maybe 5'2", 5'3". He's got sort of tattered armor on a variety of weapons. He has a decent-sized sword, a club strapped to his back, and a shield that he has been using as a pillow. And yeah, he looks like he's seen better days. But he does have a nice little tricorn hat that he seems to take care of.
All right. So everyone is gathered. And you all... So basically, Selukos is standing there waiting for folks to show up. And slowly, two goblins kind of show up, slink together. And a tall, pale human man shows up as well. And you're all kind of standing around outside of the fishery as Bob stands up next to you. Bob, are you gonna say something to these that are gathered here? Like, what are you doing? Or
yeah, absolutely. And I'm gonna trial Bob's voice, which may or may not work out. We're gonna see how that goes.
Hit us with it. Hit us with the introduction. Let's go.
Oh well, Bob is gonna sort of blink and look around him and see Selukos, who he has seen before. He does recognize him, and he says, "Hey there, lizard. You here to look at my ass again?"
I hope not. Are you diseased once more?
I don't think I ever stopped. I'm going for the world record, you know?
Yes, you have an impressive collection of venereal disease.
Very kind
We
of
are
you to
not
say.
here for that.
So, what are you all doing here? Who the hell are you?
Does anyone hold?
Hand
A
him,
letter. Oh, I'm sorry about that.
I hand him
big
my
sir.
copy of the letter.
Go ahead, Harpo.
Oh, yes. We could use a spug like you. We've been summoned to help clear out this basement.
Clear out. Oh, you mean, has it got beer in there or something? I can clear out a basement full of beer.
Well, there's the hint of monetary reward, which certainly could afford you some beer.
Well, let go.
As you're standing around talking, Zeke, or rather, unnamed pale human man. What are you doing? Just kind of standing and observing.
What was that?
The goblin and so a hobgoblin has woken up next to your group that you were kind of lingering near. What is Zeke doing? Is he just kind of lingering, or is he taking part in the conversation?
Well, he's kind of trying to get a read on these guys.
Okay.
Like, they're so fucking weird.
It is kind of an odd group.
That's coming from.
That's coming from an odd guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, they this group is fairly odd.
Kind of weird. So
to explain a little further about why this group might be odd for someone that grew up in Otari. Otari is mostly human settlement. 60%. It's a very small settlement. It's about 1,000 people. 60% of which is humans, and another 35-ish% is your standard elves, dwarves, halflings, and such. Goblins, hobgoblins, and others make up for maybe 5% of the population. So it's a very small population. It's not unheard of to see goblins, deformed humans, and lizards. Lizard folk just kind of hanging around. But it is strange. You're not wrong. You are not wrong. So you're standing on the outside watching them talk. The rest of you are standing trying to bring Bob up to speed on what's going on. And as you do so, the door to the fishery opens. and out steps a short, red-headed halfling woman. If you've lived around town for a long time, you might recognize her, as she's the owner of this fishery, Tamily Tanderville. She's the one who sent you these letters. She comes out. She says, good. A good gathering of able-bodied individuals. I see. Hello. Yes, I assume, did you all get my letter?
Yeah, we got your letter.
Excellent. As you know, the town guard is extremely busy with helping the loggers. It's an important part of our business, an important part of the village. Obviously, they couldn't spare anything for little old me, but I've got a problem. There's something in my basement, and I need some strapping fellows like you to go down there and deal with it.
Is it rats? I hate rats.
There may be rats. We have had rats before. Big hairy suckers down there. They get attracted to the rotting fish meat and other things, So, yeah, certainly. There may be rats. Now, don't fret. You'll be able to, I think you'll be able to handle anything that goes on down there. There's certainly nothing very strong, but I wanted to make sure that people could handle themselves. You all can handle yourselves in a fight, right?
I can.
We'll find out.
What, are you kidding? I kick ass professionally.
Oh yes, you certainly do. You certainly look like you do anyway. Seen some scraps. Now, I will be compensating you if you are able to deal with my problem. But, I mean, if you're ready, I'm ready. We need to get this taken care of. This thing's eating my fish, and we need to go. See, she waves at you to follow her as she turns to go back into the fishery.
Okay.
Then.
Yep.
Alright. Okay, so you enter the fishery. It is a very standard fishery. There's blood and guts everywhere, but it seems to be all fish guts and fish blood. There's different carcasses and various arrays of the process. Some are hanging up and drying, some are being cured, some are not yet actually cut into. There's just piles of yet to be cut fish sitting over on the side as if Tamily was currently in progress. And then there's also a section with currently wrapped and finished fish for people to buy if they wish to purchase it. She leads you through the shop and towards the back of the shop, where you see a downwards staircase that leads down into the basement. And she says,
Does
well,
the basement look...
good luck. And then turns to go about her business.
Does the basement look lit, or does it look dark?
You do see a faint light coming from down below. So you have the feeling that at least the room that these stairs lead down into is lit by at least a torch or something.
Okay. Just to be on the safe side, I'll cast a light on myself, or try to do that.
Okay. We'll
I am going to
mess
go
with that.
ahead and throw down a detect magic.
Detect magic down into the just downstairs, looking downstairs to see if you detect anything. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the distance on that again?
It's a 30-foot emanation. So
30 feet. You do not detect any magic within 30 feet of you.
okay.
It seems like a very mundane basement as far as your magical senses are concerned.
Newbie spell question. Are cantrips just like 5th edition? Don't require any spell slots or anything?
Correct.
Yeah.
You are correct.
Yeah, I'm not sure I cast that on myself. I'm just going to try clicking the spell effect thing, see if I can...
Yeah, if not, I can probably put a light on you.
Yeah.
In some way. But what we're gonna do is move on. So, are you heading downstairs? What is the marching?
Yeah, it's there.
You are able to fit only one abreast down these stairs. It's kind of tight. So, what is the marching order? Who leads the way?
I think Bob's
Ugh,
probably
why
in
don't
front.
you go first? You're
Yeah.
nice and big.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would totally make sense that Bob might lead the way. Yeah, that makes sense.
I'll go next.
Seleucos follows up, and then
Right. I'm gonna hide behind the slightly bigger guys.
yeah. So okay, so we got Phil in the middle,
Back middle.
and then QW, and then Zeke. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and
Yeah, I'll take up the rear.
activate this. Don't move anywhere yet, but it should move you over to the map. Might take a second to actually load and such, because there are effects and various other things. This, you're about to see one of the main reasons why I chose to go with Foundry VTT over, say, Roll20 or something like that. If you have your character selected, you'll notice that the light is based on your vision. If you are a character with a class or a race or ancestry that gives you dark vision or low light vision, that should have already been applied. If not, we can fix it later. If you want to just see the map, just hit the escape button to like not have your token selected, and that will show you a little more of what you can and can't see. Try not to metagame too much, obviously. But I'm going to read a thing now. The stairs leading into the basement of the Otari fishery creak with age as you make your way downstairs to find the beast that has been eating all of the fish. In the center of the room, between stone pillars holding up the fishery overhead, are barrels filled with salted fish. 2 of these barrels have been smashed open, spilling their contents on the floor. In the east wall is a large hole opening into darkness. Just a few hours ago, you gathered with your other adventurers outside of the fishery, where she offered you 10 gold pieces each if you could put an end to this menace. She's obviously thrilled that you have agreed to help her. But as you make your way downstairs, you can't help but wonder if there might be a lot more adventure down here than you bargained for. So, as you guys come down into this basement, what is the first thing each of you do?
Phil is gonna pop a squat and start sneaking.
Yeah, if I can, I do want that light on me.
Yeah, let me work on that, actually. I should be able to. Edit, light. How much? What's the light radius again?
Bright light for 20 feet, and then dim light for the next 20 feet.
Okay, so dim 40, bright 20.
Yeah.
Okay, update. Did that work?
So
I think it might have
It's
worked.
fairly
It's just
well
not.
lit.
It's not dark here yet. Yeah, you really can't tell until
Yeah.
you're actually into the darkness. But I think that worked. I'm pretty sure. We might just need to change. Maybe I can change the color of the light here. Oh. Yeah, you're. Maybe I'll make it a nice. What color? What's a color you would associate with Saren Ray? Like a nice gold. Yeah,
yellow.
like a yellow. Yeah. Here, let's go like that, and then we'll turn the intensity of it down a little bit here. Something like this. How do you like that?
Oh, that is.
Now you
You can
can
see very well now.
now
Yeah.
you can tell that it's active. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so as you guys step down into this basement, Phil begins to sneak. You can spread out into the basement a little bit, but you cannot go past like the middle just yet. So you can spread out into here and let me know what your characters might do right away.
We can't move because the game is paused.
Ah, yes. My bad. Good call. So Phil begins sneaking. Go ahead and give me your stealth roll for that.
Okay. A nice 21.
Okay. Good. All right. What is everyone else doing?
Heartbone's going to be looking around for tracks and that sort of thing, though he's not a tracker.
Looking around for tracks. Where is he doing that?
He's walked sort of
Just
into the
here
middle,
in the middle.
between those barrels. You got it.
Okay. Let me see here. You can certainly tell that the barrels have been broken through falling over more than anything else. It doesn't seem as if large creatures, anyway, are the ones that cause this damage. You do see signs of rats as well, rat poop and various things. Some of these rat poops seem larger than they should be.
Phil's gonna take this opportunity to unsheath his weapons.
Okay, Phil gets his weapons out. Good call. Good call. What is Bob doing?
Bob is looking around to see if any of these smashed barrels of stuff have been completely cleaned out, or whether there's still some fishy bits in them. Because it's breakfast time for him. He's feeling hungry.
Whatever smashed into the salted fish stores here did so recklessly and just kind of appears to have eaten their fill and then left. So there is remaining fish if you want to eat some salted fish. There is some there that you could eat.
Yeah, Bob's gonna grab a fish and wolf that down.
Okay. It's pretty tasty. Seems mildly fresh, maybe a couple days old.
Yeah, some good fish.
She was probably gonna sell that.
Don't hog that all.
So Bob gets himself a nice breakfast. Zeke, I don't think we've heard from Zeke yet.
Yeah, Zeke's having some technical issues at the moment.
Uh-oh. Okay, noted.
Yeah.
Noted.
Yeah,
we can work.
when your assets tried to load,
Oh, it broke for you.
my internet crashed.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
my internet. So I'm trying to. I'm loading back in.
The curse. All right. Well,
But I'm going to go ahead and summon my Eidolon.
Okay, you summon your Eidolon. Okay. I'd never
Yeah.
got you a token for that. I just need to get you like an elf or something to work with.
Yeah.
Give me one moment on that. And then we could just change its name and such. Good enough. Shabam. And now let me rename her. And we can give her artwork and stuff later. And if you have your artwork, I can update that whenever you've got it.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me spin that over to you.
Yeah, there's Misha. We are gonna have to fill her stat. We're not gonna use the stats of this Misha that I've given you. We're gonna use the stats from the stat block that you have for the protection Eidolon.
Okay.
But we'll change that later. But for now, I just wanted you to have a token, and then I need to give you access to that as well. Hold on. Ownership.
Yeah. As soon as everything loads back up, I will
owner.
see what happens.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah, I can always take a couple of the effects off as well if it's too much. Because yeah, there's like ambient like stuff that I can turn off.
Yeah, it's you might have to take some.
Yeah,
have to take some
yeah.
stuff
Let me do that. Let me turn this off. Save. Okay. So that I took the fog off. That was probably one of the major offenders.
Yeah, probably.
Let's see. And I can always turn other things off as well, lights and other things, but I'm betting it was the fog that was the major offender.
Out of curiosity, what form does your Eidolon take?
Ah, yes. So,
Sorry, what? What was that?
Zeke, you were being asked what form your Eidolon takes.
Oh, it's an it looks kind of like a elven warrior. So you're seeing a female elven warrior in like leather armor or kind of like half plate, and she's got a short spear and a shield, and but no helmet on, and looks kind of gooey, like ectoplasm-y, I guess.
Goopy.
But she's not like gooey. She's just kind of has that like that
moist look.
Yeah, I guess
Okay.
best way to describe it.
Okay, I'm not standing near you or her.
She's a protective.
Oh no, you're not gonna
ghost
get
lady.
you're not gonna get gross.
I don't want to get moist.
You're not gonna get wet.
Yeah. She is a devotion phantom Eidolon, as Zeke is a summoner.
Interesting.
So you see Zeke, the pale human who has not introduced himself or talked to you at all, just kind of followed you in.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure that's how that went, though.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much it.
What does he do? Does he say some magic words, or is it a gesture? Does he just call her forth?
Um,
Does he say, I
kinda,
choose
yeah.
you?
I just like there's a slight glow that kind of occurs around Zeke, and then there's a flash of wind and light, and here comes the Eidolon out of what looks like a tear in reality.
Excellent.
Mind if I, pardon me, QW Heartbone here. Do you mind if I examine this and collect a sample?
You'll have to ask her.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you had sentience. Yes, I would greatly appreciate if you allowed me to collect a sample of your ectoplasm.
You know, Soul Knife, you do have to do the voice for your elf, too.
I know.
Buckle
Misha
up, Buttercup.
looks at this. Misha looks at this. Whatever it is. Nods disapprovingly and says, no.
I respect that decision. If you change your mind, let me know. Maybe alchemical uses.
I will not change my mind. I will not change my mind, you foul creature. Get away from me.
Oh.
Wow, they sound so similar.
Tell you later.
Oh, my.
Misha, stop being rude. But it smells weird. I don't care. Stop being an ass.
Smells weird down here. That's not me, probably.
It's probably down here,
It's
not
Probably
Harpo.
me. I smell pretty bad.
He says.
Yeah, Zeke and Misha usually converse in Elvish.
Oh, okay. Anyone else understand Elvish?
Yeah.
Nope.
Believe. Let me double.
I think Heartbone might.
Oh, it's doing something.
Or
It's
is it
doing
Sylvan?
something.
I do speak Elvish.
You do speak Elvish.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, then you understand what they're saying to each other.
I would disregard,
Yeah.
I don't want to be rude.
Mm-hmm. Sure. But that is something to keep in mind. They talk in Elvish amongst each other, and you understand them, but others might not.
Yeah.
Okay, and that brings us last to Seleucos. You had cast light on yourself.
Yep.
And what was your first kind of action getting down here?
I want to look at this break in the wall and see if anything can be discerned from it.
All right. You find piles of loose rock and dirt kind of around a giant hole with only darkness kind of on the other side. But your magical light, as you step closer to the hole to investigate, I assume that is what's happening, yes? As you step closer to the hole to investigate, before you step there, step one more back.
Okay.
As you get close, you realize your light shines across. Oops, I'm accidentally creating things here. Your light shines across some large furry forms, and you start hearing a strange chittering noise that's coming from the hole and getting closer. Until suddenly a massive rat the size of a dog comes skittering through the hole. Hold on, let me rearrange this a little bit. And you see behind it more rats on its tail, coming skittering out, teeth gnashing and growling. As it's time for your first combat. 5 giant rats bursting. DMCA free. Brr, brr, brr. I need battle music. Bam. Alright, so this is going to be combat. To get yourself put into the combat, you select your token with a right click. And then down in the lower right, you'll see toggle combat state. So go ahead and toggle your combat state to on for this encounter. And we're just
be able to do that.
You can't right click you're already in there. I see Zeg, Mongoose, Sardi, and Graskell in there. I just need to get...
Didn't do anything visibly on my side. Okay.
Yeah. If you check the encounter tab, which is the cross swords, you'll see... and then Misha acts on your turn, so we will remove her from... She doesn't actually need to be activated.
Yeah.
So, let's go ahead and roll initiatives. There are two different ways you can do this. Because this is... So, the way initiative works in Pathfinder 2e is, for the most part, you'll be rolling using your perception to see if you perceive the attack coming fast enough, etc., so forth. In some cases, like in, for example, Phil's case, I would allow Phil, because Phil was sneaking and sneaked well enough to not be noticed by the rats right away, I will allow him to use stealth should he choose for his initiative. But what you'll do is you'll go into your character sheet and you see initiative off to the left. You could select something else, but it defaults to perception. So go ahead and roll your initiatives. Graskell, if you wish, you can do stealth for yours.
23.
Excellent.
Pathfinder, can you move through allies?
Ooh, good question.
This is the place that's skill built. Here, highly skilled physicians never rest in their pursuit to heal.
Let me double check that for you, because I'm not positive. I think you can.
With these guts, with these brains, you'll find the highest level of care in the state. This is the hope that's skill built, and it's around every corner of Indiana University Health.
Space of an enemy is difficult terrain. Allies will let you pass, though, so no. There's no penalty or anything, you can just move through. It's assumed that you can slide past them in some way, so unless you're squeezing, that's the only time where you might not be able to do that. Okay, so skittering, biting rats come crawling out of the dark hole, revealed by the shining light of Sarenrae. Luckily, the revealing light was enough to give some of you an upper hand. First is Graskell. Actually, Soul Knife, I'm gonna go ahead and roll your initiative for you, if that's all right.
Okay.
Is yours still struggling to load?
Yeah, I'm at 98% right now, but it's been stuck there for a minute.
Okay. Well, actually, so here's one rule in Pathfinder that is new. Graskell, Sardi, and Soul Knife all tied for first with a 23 for their initiatives. So what that means, when it's multiple players tied on initiative, you guys get to decide the order in which you're going to act on that part of the turn order. So at the top of the turn order, with the tie, Graskell, Sardi, and Soul Knife, you guys kind of get to decide in what order you're going to act. Now, you have to take a full turn at a time, but you get to decide who's going to go first. It's not forced. When it's...
I'd like
I
Play.
suggest
like to
that
go
order of Graskell, myself, and Solno based on our proximity to the rats. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not a
that's
bad idea.
perfect idea.
Not a bad idea. So let's start with Graskell.
Right, so first of all, I have a rat right in front of me.
You have two rats stuffing the hole, and you see more rat bodies behind them coming
I'm
forward.
going to throw my dagger at the first rat.
Okay. A natural 20. What a way to open. A natural 20 is a critical hit.
Okay, so then that's that.
Yeah, a 27 is a critical hit, so hit that critical damage button.
I also have to add on
And then do your stealth.
1d6 precision damage.
Actually, you crit on that. So
Yeah,
you
but
get
I also
to double that too.
I get to add 2d6.
That is
Ooh.
correct. Yeah, a crit sneak attack is one of the nastiest things in Pathfinder. So yeah, I would say hit your critical damage button first to do damage with your dagger, your thrown dagger. And because the enemy was unaware of you / hasn't acted yet in combat, they are what's called off guard. And off guard characters take sneak attack damage. So you've done your 2d4. Yep. And then does anything get added to that damage wise? No?
Yes, because they're caught off guard.
No, I meant besides the sneak attack.
No,
you
just
add your
sneak
dex
attack.
or anything. Okay. Okay, then yeah, add your sneak attack damage as well. And because you crit on your sneak attack, you get to double that too. So it's 2d6 additional damage. Ooh. And so you have done 15 total damage?
Yep.
All right. Describe what happens to this horribly dead rat.
Phil, without even a second glance, just fires the dagger straight out towards the oncoming pack, catching the first one squarely between the eyes, dropping him.
And it dies immediately. And I mean dies. It's like oh my god.
Right.
Dead.
I'm going to... So I still get to move. So I'm going to move.
Yes, so that was one of your actions. So in Pathfinder 2e, we're do a brief beginner explanation break. Pathfinder 2e differs from D&D in a number of ways. Pathfinder 2e has what's called an action economy, where every character, everyone gets 3 actions to use in a turn. Each action that you might do in combat uses one of those action points. So far, Graskell's character Phil has used 1 action point to throw his dagger at the rat, killing it because it was a crit and did a ton of damage and everything. He's now using a second action point to do what's called a stride action, which is where you move up to your movement speed.
Yep. And then I'm going to do another attack, a melee attack.
Okay,
Now,
and
the
then
question is, do I roll the first attack because it's the first melee attack I've done?
no, it is your second attack of the turn, which means you will suffer from the multiple attack penalty of -4 because it is a finesse weapon.
Yes, I did.
And you rolled a 6, which is a miss. You strike down at this rat, and it dodges deftly to the side and screeches at you. All right, and I believe that is it for your turn. Anything else?
No, that's all I can do.
Fantastic. Actually, I could have begun the encounter. Next, Sardi.
Okay, Bob is very excited to see his second breakfast turn up. But he didn't prepare for this very well. He hasn't got any weapons out, he hasn't got a shield up. So this first action, he's going to draw his sword. And with the other 2 actions, he's going to go for a sudden charge, which is just sprinting up towards an enemy. And if he ends within 5 feet of it, he can make a melee attack. So that's what he's going to do. He's going to charge up.
Oh, so as one action, he does this charge.
Yeah, costs me 2 actions.
Ah.
But let me read the thing. With a quick sprint, you dash up to your foe and swing.
Okay.
Stride twice, so I could move double my movement if I needed to. If you end your movement within melee reach of at least one enemy, you can make a melee strike against that enemy.
Perfect. So yeah, it's your main method of kind of getting around the field quickly and attacking things still in the same kind of turn. So yeah, you can use your charge, use 2 actions to run up to the rat and take a strike. That'll be your first attack of the turn.
Yes, he's going to go for this rat right here.
Yep, and you can actually, if you want, if you hold Alt and click on that rat, you'll target it. I think it's Alt. Maybe it's Control. Shift? What is it? Anyone know?
It looks like it's Alt. Everybody highlighted red when I did that.
Okay. Well, okay, either way, it doesn't really matter. So yeah, go ahead and do your attack roll upon this rat.
Okay. I think I'm going to do it like that.
Ooh. A 13 is a miss.
Disgusting.
A poor roll for...
Yeah.
All right, you have one more action.
No, I do not. My first action was drawing my sword. And
I think it's
melee strike.
Okay. I mean, we could say that you didn't have your sword out because you were actively stuffing your face, kind of at the time.
Unfortunately so.
So yeah, no, you've got a good point. You do need to use a manipulate action to draw your weapon in the first place.
Possibly, I tried to slap him with the fish bones in my hand.
Yeah, you potentially could have maybe punched or something. I don't know. No, you're definitely right. Drawing your weapon was your first action, and then your charge attack, or rather your move and then attack, either way, would have been your last 2 actions. So unfortunately, it seems as if your turn might be over. Fiddlesticks indeed. Moving on to the next person is Soul Knife, but I believe Soul Knife is having some technical difficulties currently. Changing routers and internet connection. Oh my. We are having a technical difficulties break for just a moment, folks. So if anyone needs to grab a drink or a quick piddle.
If I don't feed my cat, she's gonna explode. So great.
Also that. That's valid.
I'm going to briefly take Bob aside and explain to him that he's supposed to be good at hitting things with weapons.
You just had a poor roll. That's not really your fault. A +9 is really good, actually, for a level 1 character. That's pretty strong. Pretty strong. Very strong hobgoblin Bob is. I assume he's two-handing that, yep. Yep.
Fueled by fish.
If he had hit, he would have destroyed that rat, probably in 1 hit, even without a crit.
Turned into a fine mist.
They are, after all, just rats. Hello, chat. Anyone in chat? I don't think there's anyone in chat. Hello, chat.
Hi, chat. I killed a rat on the first turn.
You did. You rolled a crit. You set the tone. You set the tone.
To be fair, it was probably one of the nicest rolls we could get to start the very first combat of this playthrough.
Yep. Like I said, it's Oh, there is someone in chat. Hello, sorry. How are you today?
I'm okay.
Chittering rats.
These were extra large rats, weren't they?
Oh yes, they're giant rats.
Hmm.
They're big old
One
rats.
was.
Good. That's probably why Bob went for his sword rather than his little knife.
Hmm. Yeah. They're big old rats. They're small creatures still, as far as creature size goes. But they're like the size of a dog, you know? Dog-sized rats. Massive rats. I should have had all these rats act on the same at the same time. Anathema is a great cat name.
It's from Good Omens. It's the witch.
I'm aware.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I'm
A
aware.
lot of people just are like, anathema?
Well, I know. Me pronouncing it correctly probably should have keyed you into that.
Yes.
But no, yeah, I like that show quite a lot. I haven't read the book yet, but I intend to.
It is a very faithful recreation. Get it in paper because there are footnotes that are not on the audio.
Oh, noted. Thank you for the advice.
And the footnotes are frankly half of the fun of the entire book.
Oh, really? Yeah. Neil's a pretty funny guy.
I love that the chat is solely Team Phil.
Huh?
Your chat on Twitch, it's everybody's rooting for Team Phil.
Oh yeah. Wow. Yep, we've got a hashtag Team Phil starting.
Was that, have you just named the party for us?
Yes.
itself.
Hashtag Team Phil.
Team Phil.
Yep, that's the party's team name is now Team Phil, but only Phil calls it that.
Gonna call us the Philharmonic Dorchestra.
Phil and the Outcast sounds like a grunge band. Oh, we might get some Sunday regulars in here, but I guess not. That's okay. It is Easter,
There we go.
after all.
There we go. Phil has named the group.
Phillies Eagles.
We're yeah.
I hate it. I don't like it. Just
Deep down, you're impressed that I knew that that was an actual American football team.
I'm sad. I'm sad is what I am. Rats, big hairy rats. Might be having still some issues. It may take a moment for Soul Knight to fully come back online. As he was changing routers and such. So what I'm gonna do is talk about some combat stuff while we wait. So, we've already talked about initiative. Initiative determines the order everyone's going to go in as normal. Basically, everyone's initiative, you roll a d20 and add your perception. In some cases, you might use other things, like if your character is sneaking, you might use your stealth for your initiative. Or if your character is focusing heavily on some magical effect, you might use your arcana. If you can make an argument, basically, that I should allow you to use a certain skill for your initiative, chances are good I will probably allow you to do that. Otherwise, yes, everyone takes turns, and every turn, each character or creature gets 3 actions. They can use them for basic actions like attacking, moving, drawing, interacting, and doing other things like that, or more actions to do more advanced things like special attacks like Bob's charge attack, or spells and various things like that. Every time you roll a d20, you will add the appropriate statistic and compare that to the DC or AC of the creature that you are attacking. If you meet or exceed the DC, you have succeeded. If you exceed the DC by 10 or more, then you've hit a critical success. If your result is lower than the DC, you've failed. And if it's lower by 10 or even less, then you get a critical failure. Pay attention to the number you roll on the die as well. If you roll a natural 20, then you treat the result as 1 level higher than you would have before. And subsequently, a natural 1 is treated as 1 step below what you would have gotten once you added all your bonuses and such. So, usually that means you'll critically fail if you roll a natural 1, but not always. Creatures can spend any number of their actions making attacks, but each additional swing gets less accurate. The second attack gets a -5. The third attack gets a -10. Some weapons are agile or finesse weapons, which means they're better at making additional attacks, and it makes those penalties for the second and third attacks -4 and -8 instead. Clerics, wizards, and some monsters can cast spells. They usually require 2 actions, but some use 1, or some use even 3. Each spell offers full rules for their effects and such, so you really just follow those. Some will also ask you to attempt a spell attack roll, which is just a d20 and adding the spell attack and comparing that to the AC of your target. Otherwise, other things I might want to talk about later is saving throws. It works very similar to D&D. Some spells, traps, and abilities will require you to make a saving throw, also called a save, to see how well you resist it. Saving throws come in 3 types in Pathfinder. Fortitude is against diseases, poisons, and such. Reflex saves to dodge various things. And will saves to resist mental control, illusion magic, various things like that. To attempt a saving throw, you'll roll your d20 and add the statistic that is listed. And then the results are the same: critical success, success, failure, or critical failure. Many will have special effects based on critical success or critical failure. Crits can change things very drastically. The last thing I'm going to talk about is dying. When you are reduced to 0 hit points, you're removed from play. Or rather, when a monster is reduced to 0 hit points, it's just removed from play. It's dead. When a player is reduced to 0, they fall to unconscious, and you gain the dying condition. Dying 2 if the attack was a crit. The hero's initiative moves to right before when they were knocked out, and on their turn they got to roll a d20 without adding anything to see if they get better or worse. The DC is 10 plus the value of their dying condition. So if you're dying 1, it's 11. If you're dying 2, it's 12, etc. so forth. If you succeed, then the dying condition goes down by 1. If you fail, the dying condition goes up by 1. If you ever get to dying 4, you die. If you get to dying 0, you lose the dying condition but remain unconscious. Healing a hero who is at 0 HP also removes the dying condition, and the hero returns to consciousness. In either case, they gain the Wounded 1 condition. The Wounded condition plays into the dying condition. If you have the Wounded condition and you go into the dying condition again, you add the Wounded condition to it as well. So, the more times you go down without getting properly healed of your Wounded condition, the likelier you are to actually die. So, for example, someone goes down and it's their first time going down and it's not a crit, so they get dying 1. They fail their DC 10 death check but then get healed the next turn. That brings them above 0 HP and conscious, but they now will have the Wounded 2 condition because they had dying 2 when they were brought back up. The Wounded condition will make it, or rather, I'm sorry, they would be Wounded 1. That's based on the number of times they're brought up, not the dying condition beforehand. But if they were to go down again, because they have Wounded 1, and then say they go down to a crit, so they would have been dying 2, you add the Wounded 1 to that, that makes them dying 3. They are now 1 failed death save away from death. And then if you were to heal them from that and bring them back up to 1 and conscious, then they would be Wounded 2. So if they were to go down to a crit and have Wounded 2, they would die immediately from that. If they went down from a regular attack at Wounded 2, then they would go down at dying 3 and be very close to death. So that is kind of how dying works in Pathfinder 2e. It's pretty hard to actually die, but not impossible. We've reached our playback limit. Boo. Anyway, that was my little blurb about my boring little blurb about combat. Did everyone learn something? Are you all excited to continue playing?
Huh?
I was worried about that. I was worried about that.
Feeling that you need to be re-explained to more than just one of us.
We will probably go over a lot of that as it comes up.
Can you explain it with a picture book?
Yes.
Yes.
I will send it to you in the mail.
Yes.
All right.
So much overloading.
What's the verdict, Soul Knife?
Well, I mean, it's just trying to load all the assets, and it's just not working. So I can't see anything that's happening on the screen right now.
Okay. Would one of you lovely gents, be able to stream the game to Discord for him?
I got him.
I can move your character around, Soul Knife. For now, we can figure out these technical issues. But for now, we'll get you vision at least of what's going on. Someone got that?
I got him.
Maybe.
Are you gonna be able to view that on Discord? Maybe instead of running.
No, my internet's not gonna be able to handle that.
I mean, instead of running VTT, just looking at over Graskull's shoulder, basically, and letting us move your character for you.
I am broadcasting it to him.
Oh, hey, I can kind of see it now.
Yeah,
Sort of.
kind
Okay.
of. So,
all right.
it is your turn, and your two are at the back of the room
Okay.
there.
All right. Let's see here. We're fighting rats, right?
Right. So you've got this tunnel full of rats that has started to come out. So far, Phil has killed one, and Bob engaged another, but that's all that's happened so far.
Okay. The space that's next to Bob.
Mm-hmm. And this is a dead
that...
rat, by the way. This can go away.
Okay.
So these two spaces are
let's
open.
Move. Yeah, we'll move me next to Beliakos.
Okay.
And we'll move Misha next to Bob.
Okay. And then you would still have one action remaining.
With that, Misha can actually strike that rat.
Yes. Oops.
So in this case, it will be a D20 plus 4 roll?
D20 plus
what
4?
I can tell.
Let me double check that for you, because I have that pulled up here, I believe. Yes, I do. Devotion, Phantom, Eidolon, Strength 18.
So it's a D20 plus 4, and as far as damage goes,
let's roll that. D20 plus 4, bam. A 18 is a hit. So yeah, what is the damage?
It's a D6 plus strength mod from what I can tell.
Plus strength, yeah. Did you go with is a Swift Protector or Stalwart Guardian as far as your...
I went with the Stalwart Guardian.
Okay, Stalwart Guardian has a strength of 18, so it'd be plus 4.
Yeah.
So 1d6 plus 4. Bam. Splat. Okay, as the ghostly form of Elvish warrior Misha steps up next to you, Bob, and shows you how it's done. What does she do to this rat? She kills it in one blow.
She takes, well, it looks like the spear, and she stabs, in quotes, the rat, because this is more or less like I think it's more of a bludgeoning attack.
Yeah. I think you're right.
Just skewers it with a blunt object.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, essentially.
Lad the Impaler.
Essentially. Double check. Very cool. Yeah, it's a fist. It's technically her fist, right? It's like a quote unquote tendril like bludgeoning weapon. but it's shaped like a spear, so it does impact with a bludgeoning force instead of a piercing force. But yes, you kill it in one blow, and it splatters upon the ground. All right, that's a good turn. So Zeke and Misha step up and do some work. Up next, though, it's rat time. Coming skittering out of the hole. Skitter, skitter, skitter. This rat runs up and tries to bite Bob with his gnashing teeth. Ooh, I'm gonna guess a 10 does not hit.
No chance.
All right, well, he attempts to bite you again with multiple attack penalty. Oh no, a critical failure. A critical failure. A critical failure doesn't really do anything besides make him look extremely embarrassed. All right, then. Well, that rat was kind of useless, huh? We'll call that one Barry. This rat comes running up and tries to bite at Misha. Oh, the music's back. Excellent. All right, so the first one was a 15. The second one was also a 15. AC is what on the Stalwart Guardian?
I think we lost him.
Did we lose him?
Let me just check real quick. Yeah.
Yeah, he's gone. Okay.
And he's back.
Having some issues.
I have it up. I have it brought up now.
Oh, really? Is it working? Yay! It appears to be working, ish.
I got disconnected. Yeah, I got disconnected because Graskell was streaming and I couldn't tell him to stop streaming.
Oh. Yeah, go ahead and stop the stream then. Yeah.
So I
yeah.
should be good now.
Okay. All right. Well, Misha is being attacked by a rat. Misha did manage to kill the rat, and that's the only thing you really missed. Bob got attacked, but nothing happened. Misha is getting attacked by a rat. Does a 15 hit, Misha?
15 does not hit.
All right. What is Misha's AC? Because I'm struggling to figure that out.
So, it's going to be Stalwart Guardian is it's going to be a 15 total. So
Then those would be hits.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Meets it, beats it. I was thinking that it might be 15, but I wasn't sure. Okay. So she takes 2 bites then. 1, 2. Low amount of damage. Not so bad. For 6 damage. Now,
Okay.
can Eidolons be affected by things like disease?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure they can, but let's double check that. I don't see any immunities to disease in here in her stat block.
So,
However, she is also ethereal and a phantom. So,
Phantom. Yeah.
Pathfinder 2E ethereal. Does that make you immune to disease?
She's dead, Jim.
She's dead,
She's
Jim.
dead.
She's dead, Jim. Why don't you say ethereal can survive basic environmental effects of the ethereal plane? That is not helpful. That is really not helpful.
That is like very broad.
Found a Reddit thread that suggests they can be diseased.
That's kind of what the implication I've got as well. That I don't see anything that shows them being immune to disease or poison. And generally speaking, they are treated as a second character.
Yeah.
And ethereal and phantom, neither of those appear to give. Neither of those appear to give immunity to that either. So, what I want is 2 fortitude saves from Misha.
Okay.
And I can actually start editing her character sheet with the right HP and all that too. Ooh.
1's an 11.
Okay.
Next one is 8.
Okay. Just rolling this. Don't worry about it. Okay. Misha appears to start possibly feeling a little ill. After that bite. But appears to be unaffected for now. Seleucos.
I'd be able to go to the square south of Misha
Yes. Yeah, that
and
square
attack.
has some flavor rocks in it. Now, attacking around that corner you can do, but because you're attacking around the corner, that rat will get a slight bonus to his AC from being covered.
Would I be able to, if I were just there, cast needle darts? Because I do have a hobgoblin in front of me.
Yes, certainly, but again, same thing. Unfortunately, they would get a little bit of cover and a small AC bonus as a result.
Yeah, well, in that case, I'll go there and I'll try to give a friendly bite.
All right. Lizard runs up and tries to bite the rat. All right. Oh, that's more than enough, even with the extra cover. Roll some damage. Ooh. You bite heavily into this thing. Tear a big chunk of rat out. He starts to bleed heavily, but he's still up.
Okay, well, I've got another action, and my claws, I think, are agile, so
-4 then.
I'll try it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another hit.
Let's see. You had a +6 by default, right? So this one should have been a
yeah.
+2. It didn't roll
Yes,
MAP on this one. That's why I'm asking. So you would have had a 14. That is not a hit.
Okay. Well, that's all I can do.
All right. You got a bleeding rat in front of you. You've done some damage. And another thing you guys have done is you've made it so basically this rat back here begins to skitter through. He's able to move past his pals just fine, but he has to try and skitter through underneath Bob's legs, which basically is difficult terrain, which means it's double the movement to get through Bob's space there. And it gives Bob the opportunity to potentially do an attack of opportunity if Bob has one of those and a reaction.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he does. So
Has a reactive
a rat, you see a rat skitter past his friend in front of you and tries to skitter underneath your legs. And you strike as he does this.
Yeah, get back here, you filthy bastard.
Ooh, that's a hit. That'll do it.
Yeah.
Oh, that does it. That's enough damage to kill it. So describe what you do to this rat as it tries to skitter underneath you.
Okay. Bob sort of leaps up in the air, swings down his sword like a golf swing. He goes right with the flat of his blade, takes its head clean off its body, and it
bam
slaps against the far wall, splatters.
Splat.
His body sort of continues forward for a few steps, then collapses.
Oh, so it doesn't get to do its attack that its plan, whatever it was planning, gets cut short by the quick movements of Bob. And that actually brings us to the bottom of the list, which is Heartbone.
Fortunately, I did not act quick enough to bomb them without hurting the party, so I'm not going to bomb them.
You could still bomb them.
So I guess I'm just going to make a straight move. Now, actually, I guess I'm just going to move up there and just try and hold my action in case something happens, but I don't think it's going to before the end of the round.
Okay, would you like to do a prepared action, which is where you spend 2 of your action points to prepare to do something? You have to give me a trigger that triggers that action, but if that thing should happen, you would get that action at that time.
Yeah, if more rats move up in the back, I'm going to throw the lightning that I'm holding at those rats.
Back here somewhere?
You got it.
All right. Noted. So, Heartbone steps up, bottled lightning in hand, and prepares to throw it down the hallway should more of these dirty rat friends appear. That brings us back to the top, which is Grayskull. Yep, Phil the Short.
Gonna have a nice little stab at that rat.
That's a hit. And this is the only unharmed rat, the one that Bob initially tried to attack. Ooh, and you skewer it. What do you do with your rapier? You poke out at this rat.
Phil just kind of angles himself in a weird way, and the rapier just comes soaring straight out into the rat's mouth.
Rat
kind of has to jiggle it a bit to get it back loose.
Rat probably didn't even see it coming. Was just looking at Bob and trying to snap at him. Caught a sword to the side of the head. All right, that rat is dead. All right, you still have 2 more actions left on your turn. What would you like to do?
Gonna sneak around Bob.
Squeeze past Bob there with 1 action.
He's gonna have another stab.
Another stab. That one you did correctly. That one actually should be, because it's a finesse weapon, it's -4, right? Or is that only agile weapons?
It's a -5.
Yeah, -5 is what it normally is with most weapons. That's why I was asking. But anyway, an 18 is a hit, either way. And that is enough. So describe how, describe what Phil does in the last like 5 seconds, basically.
So he goes on a bit of a acrobatic rampage of ducking, diving, and stabbing. No sooner has he stabbed the first one and shook loose the rapier, he flies over and just launches himself point down at the other rat, skewering it.
Excellent. Well, that actually wraps up the combat as the last rat bleeds out on the ground with Phil's blade buried deep in it. You notice the sounds of chittering have subsided, and there don't appear to be any further rats coming down the hole.
I'm gonna pick up my dagger.
So we're ending combat. We're out of combat now. What would everyone like to do?
You can see why I keep this one.
I'll go ahead and
Oh yeah.
send Misha back to her home plane so she can rest and heal.
Okay. So you dismiss your Eidolon. She just poofs away. I'll bring her back.
I'm gonna grab my dagger and I'm gonna sneak on forward a little bit more.
All right. So you begin to sneak forward. What's everyone else doing? Don't go too far.
Check
That's
the
about as far as I'm
rats.
going.
Go ahead. One more time.
I'm going to check the rat's mouth where they bit the Eidolon and see if there's any
Mhm.
ectoplasm I can recover.
He's obsessed.
You fucking guys.
Material I haven't encountered.
It's fascinating, really.
I don't care. Stop being weird. I can set you on fire.
Oh.
I
Give me
don't know what you want to make.
give me a survival check, Heartbone.
Find where the tab is.
Yes, take your time. I often have to go through at least 2 tabs before I find the one I'm looking for.
Like a 12.
A 12. These rat mouths are nasty. Probably diseased. Just awful. Gore and other things. You can't really tell if there's any ectoplasm mixed in with all the blood and goop and diseased ness of it all. The saliva.
Oh,
and shit.
10,000 curses. I wish I had brought a lot.
Yeah. If only. Okay, so QW sets about trying to collect some ectoplasm and is only able to collect rat saliva. What's Bob doing post battle?
I was flicking a bit of rat gore off the end of his sword.
Mm.
And he says, okay, problem solved. Let's block up this hole. Go get our money, okay?
Indeed. Before you do that, let's see what everyone else was up to. Seleucos.
A giant rat's a inverted commas normal thing for this world, or is it very odd?
It's not very odd. Giant rats are not as common as regular rats, but they're not uncommon. You know what I mean? They're not rare, super rare or anything like that. You've probably seen a giant rat or two in your travels as a sailor, or at the very least treated giant rat wounds once or twice. Just they hide in dens and dark places, and it is not uncommon. As likely as you would find a mangy dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair
And
enough.
given
Okay.
the plentiful food stuff, it wouldn't be uncommon in an area such as this that there would be an influx of them.
Mm.
Stable food supply would cause them to get bigger.
Also that. Yeah.
As nobody's wounded, I'm just gonna take a few more steps down and beckon for other people to follow, because job needs doing.
Hmm.
I'm just got my back flat against the rock face.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
in case something comes around that corner.
The only person I haven't heard from, I heard from Zeke briefly. Zeke, after dismissing Misha, were you going to do anything?
We're done here, right?
Well, you've killed the rat.
I guess we'll go ahead and head down the tunnel.
Certainly. Certainly. And
Is
as
that
you...
where everybody else is going?
Yeah, well, Seleucos and Phil have at least started heading down the tunnel.
Okay.
Phil, yes, Seleucos, give me actually a perception check as you start walking down the tunnel. You don't notice Phil. He's sneaking. He's very good at it.
Occasion.
On this occasion, you don't notice him in the shadows right there. Basically, you've lost track of him almost immediately because it gets very dark down here. Now you are giving off lots of light. So one of the nice things about for everyone really, is one thing you do know is it's dark down here. There's no light coming from down in this tunnel. It's extremely dark, except for the light you see now coming off of Seleucos. But the only other light was the torchlight from this storeroom back here. So it gets very dark as you go on. Phil and Seleucos have moved forward. The rest of you are still there. But as you move forward, you get the thought that the damage that was done to these barrels could not have really been caused by those rats. Some of those barrels were destroyed, like broken into with probably tools or something like that. The rats probably didn't cause the initial damage. They probably have just been feasting on the after effects. So after you've dealt with the rats, now that you've dealt with the rats, you start exploring this hole. It's big enough for a human to crawl through with ease. So most of you are having no real issues getting through here, being average human size or smaller. Seleucos has to duck a little bit as an extremely tall lizard man. And I believe Zeke is also very tall, so he probably has to duck a little bit as well.
Yeah, I'm
but
fairly tall.
Squeezing through the hole, you find yourself in a cavern that seems to stretch endlessly beneath the streets of Otari. Who knows what menace could be lurking down here? Up ahead, the passageway ends in a cliff that plunges sharply into the darkness. That's this cliff right here that you guys are looking at.
I'll creep into the room stealthily
Okay.
to the edge of the cliff.
Okay. Creep up to the edge of the cliff. You look down, and it's a short, slippery cliff. It appears that you could climb down it if you want, with little difficulty, and probably climb back up. What do you guys want to do?
Anybody happen to have a rope?
Mm-hmm.
Phil is going to jump across.
You're just gonna jump down?
No, he's going to try and jump over.
It's not across. So this is a downward slope of about 10 feet, 15 feet, going down to the floor down here is about 15 feet down from where you guys are standing now, and there's a short slanted cliff side that you can clamber down to get down there if you wanted to, or you can go about it however you wish. So what do you guys want to do?
I'm gonna climb it because I have a climbing kit.
Yes, I was about to say the distance is not. It's not one you would want to just jump down.
Yeah,
basically.
I'll use my climbing kit to get down and up.
Mm-hmm. It's far enough down to where you don't feel safe just leaping down. You probably could and would survive, but you'd probably take damage doing so. So you bring out a climbing kit. You have a climbing kit. Okay, cool. What's everyone else going to do?
Bob has resigned himself to keeping going, so he's just going to jump down.
You're just gonna jump down. You don't want to try and climb down, maybe.
Nope, he's jumping.
Okay. Okay.
Because of reasons that I will put in the chat right now. There you go.
Oh well, look at you.
From his background as a deckhand, he is agile like a cat.
All right, fine. This is fun. It's down, right? Yeah. So you can climb with the climbing kit. You can that comes with like ropes and pythons and all kinds of crazy stuff. So assuming you can rig some kind of climbing rope down, that will add to your climb checks. Bob is able to just hop down. Let's see, a 15-foot drop. You would have taken 5 damage falling from the top. So in
just at the basic level, so I treat it as 10 feet shorter, so it would be 5 feet worth of. As if it was a 5 foot.
It was yep. So a 5 foot drop would have been no damage. Yeah, you would have just dropped. So you're able to just hop down. Basically, yes. At this distance, you're able to just hop down with catfall. Very cool. Aren't you special? So everyone else, on the other hand, I assume is going to attempt to use the rope that Phil is setting up. Am I correct in that, or does anyone else have other plans?
I'll be using the rope.
Mm-hmm. Everyone that's going to try and use the rope to climb down, roll me a athletics check. And add 5 to it for the rope. $23, a 24, a 17. Oh, and a 13.
13.
Yep,
Yeah.
13. So, leading the way, Phil and Heartbone just clamber down the rope with relative ease and reach the bottom with barely any struggle. Similarly, Seleucos is a little more of a struggle. He's a bit heavier, but he does manage to get down and climb down with no problems whatsoever. When it gets to Zeke's attempt, perhaps there's a shift in the wind, perhaps Zeke's physical build just isn't where it needs to be. Either way, Zeke, you start to climb down and you kind of freeze up as you're doing so, and you don't make any progress. You don't fall or let go, but you don't make any progress. So I need you to do one more to see what happens. So yeah, Soul Knife, give me one more athletics check. As your start to climb
Is there
down
any circumstance bonus?
and freeze, you'll still get the +5 for the rope.
Jesus.
You're not having very good luck. The rest of you look up, and what you see is the tall, pale human is, for whatever reason, struggling to climb down. Just can't put the one hand in front of the other. Is kind of frozen in place. Can't really move. Afraid to let go. Afraid to climb down. Something is going on, and he's not moving.
I cast.
I'm going to cheer him on.
guidance on him.
Guidance. Very good. A +1 bonus.
+1.
Okay. So
I give him a half-hearted cheer.
a half-hearted cheer. So you hear Zeke, you hear from below a half-hearted cheer from Phil and Phil the Short, and you feel the glow of Sarenrae. What does the prayer sound like for this guidance?
So Yukis looks up at the guy who's struggling, and Yukis says, "Climb down the rope."
Okay. All right. Give me one more athletics check, Soul Knife. This time you're getting +5 for the rope, +1 for guidance, and plus an additional 1 circumstance bonus for Phil's cheer. We'll call it. Oh my god. I thought I was about to land on a 1. Okay. Good. Yes. Excellent.
This fucking dice.
You're fine.
The
You're fine.
campaign grinds to a halt because one of us can't climb down a
You
rope.
managed to slide down the rest of the way, although shakily, and managed to get boots on the ground without any further incident. You've made it over this this obstacle.
Oh, these dice are not so nice.
These dice are not so nice, huh?
I'm going to leave the rope there for when we inevitably have to get back out.
All right. So the tunnel continues deeper underground, eventually opening into a much larger chamber, which you see ahead of you. You can just barely make out vast strands of webbing across the floor and walls of the cavern as you approach.
I don't suppose that if I cast needle darts, that'd do much to cut the webbing, would it?
I mean, you'd probably cut some webbing, though. As you walk a little closer, you realize that the amount of webbing is quite a lot. As you see deeper into the cavern, you can see it's covered in web from wall to ceiling in some places.
Phil's going to unsheath his weapons and he's going to sneak.
Oh, another aspect of this cavern, by the way, patches of blue glowing fungus clings to the ceiling and provides dim light in this this part of the cavern. You can also see stalactites and stalagmites, between which webbing is stretched and built.
You guys like me to burn it away? These webs, that is?
Yes.
Yes,
Right.
burn them.
Burn them.
Be quiet.
Move up to the edge there and just pull out one of the alchemist's fire
Okay.
and give it a chuck.
All right. Aiming for just somewhere in the middle of the room, or?
It's got a easier 20-foot range, so probably somewhere around there.
Okay. Yeah. Somewhere 20 feet away from you into the room. All right. Go ahead and roll it. And we can go over a little bit of your throwing mechanics in a very basic sense right now, actually, when we do this. So, when Hearthbone is an alchemist, if you haven't picked that up yet. And what that means is he creates bombs and tinctures, elixirs, mutagens, and various other things to attempt or to assist him in his combat. One of the things he can do is make fire bombs and various other kinds of bombs and throw them at enemies. So when he goes to do this, he takes out one of his bombs and he tosses it using a dexterity throw. A d20 plus 6, a 9. I think it's only 5 to just hit a spot, so I think you're probably good. Throwing.
It's also got splash damage, so at the very least,
Right.
it should catch something. on
Exactly. Either way. Really, all I was having you roll for is to see if you didn't drop it at your feet. But yes, so
Potent one.
yeah, you mixed a potent one that time. So QW Heartbone takes out a flask of glowing green liquid and throws it into the room, where it crashes on the ground, shattering and exploding in a gout of flame. You see the webbing catch fire and start to spread as the old webs quickly burn up. Unfortunately, they don't leave any fire remaining, but do burn up quite a bit of the webbing before the fire peters out. As a result of your noise, 1 second. You hear a chittering noise. You hear something large moving in the very back of the cavern, and from out of the darkness and the webs, you see crawling a gigantic, massive spider. And he looks pissed. And we're gonna roll for initiative. Ta-da. Ooh. Yes. So that was one way to do this. There's actually, it's interesting here. I'm gonna switch music here. Looks like everyone's got their stuff in. We'll begin the encounter. I'm gonna start some battle musics. Okay. So first up is Seleucos.
I'll head a little nearer, just so that Heartbone isn't the first one to get attacked if anything happens. And I'm going to cast Needle Darts. I think is just going to be 1d20 plus 3.
Yes, your
See if it hits.
spell attack.
Yeah, it's correct. Okay, so I'll just roll that. Oh, 10.
Ooh, 10 is not a hit. They bounce off the hard carapace of the giant spider, and he hisses at you.
I hiss back, and that is my turn.
All right. Up next is Bob.
Yeah, go Bob. Right, how much of these webs are gone now? That
How
ones that are visible in
Heartbone?
this room?
Yeah, hold on. Give me 1 sec. Let me actually draw that. That's a good point. Heartbone, are you that deep into? Oh, you started moving around. I see.
I did figure out how to move the map, but it seemed to move.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll allow Bob go first this time.
Can you see the effect I put down there?
I can,
Yes.
yeah.
That is all the webs that have burned away. So none of that is difficult terrain. However, the other spots that still have web are. And that means you will, it's particularly hard to move through. It costs an extra 5 feet of movement to move through difficult terrain. So it's not like normal. The highlighted area is the area without difficult terrain. That's the area that's been burned away. Everything else is still difficult terrain.
Okay, so if I were to end or try to end my turn in that spot right there,
So you are here.
would that make the
5,
final?
10, 15, 20. What's your move speed? 30?
It's 25, but I'm thinking about doing this.
Oh, you're going to
second
charge.
again. We
Yeah.
should double it.
Yeah, if you charge... 5, 10. Do you have to have a straight line for the charge?
It does not say that, I don't think.
Okay.
Here it is.
That's-
No, it just says
okay,
stride
cool.
twice.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so in that case, yeah, 5, 10, 20, 30, 10, 15, 20. Yeah, you could do that. I'd say you'd be able to do that if you wanted to, like, if you ran to here. Oh, sorry. If you wanted to end up in one of these two squares, here or here, you could do it.
Okay, so Bob will end up there. He's still got his sword in two hands. He didn't need to put it away to jump down the cliff.
Nope. Nope, not at all. So yeah, you run into the room, through the webs, bashing and crashing, and take a swing on this spider.
Oh, yeah. Gonna cut off all your legs and stick them up your ass. You got an ass, right?
Kind of.
I believe it's a cloaca.
Ooh, a 14.
That's disappointing again.
You swing at the spider, and it, with uncanny speed, jerks back and then jumps back forward at you again in a very flavor way.
You jerk, all right. Okay. Well, he's got one
more action.
One action left, so we're gonna put a shield up.
Shield up. Okay, that'll increase your AC by 2, right?
And it doesn't seem to. Oh no, yeah, it's done.
You
that.
have
to raise it.
Yeah.
Yeah, all you did was
action.
Yeah, all you did was draw
drawn
it out. Yeah, unfortunately. So you don't get the AC bonus unless you raise it, unfortunately. So
I don't think I get to use the shield block either. No, that has to be
no,
raised for that too.
it has to be raised for that too, unfortunately. So because
displaying it to the spider.
Yeah, I mean, you had a strategy to come in and swing with full force with both hands, and you couldn't have your shield out to do that. So it is what it is.
It's one step closer to being useful.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
All right, moving on to Phil the Short.
He's gonna run up.
All right, keep in mind that anywhere you see web is difficult terrain except for the green. So you guys have a pretty clear path up the middle, straight into the fight, kind of. How many was that so far? 5, 10.
25.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gonna attempt to do what he did the first time with his dagger.
Doing another
Straight
throw?
at the spider.
What is the effective range on that?
I am not sure.
Because I feel like it's 20-40 for a thrown dagger. Let me double check it. A throwing knife. Is that what it is, or is it a dagger?
It's a dagger.
Just a thrown dagger.
It's 20 feet. That's fine. I can just keep moving up.
Well, all it means is you get minuses. You know, dagger is thrown 10 feet.
Okay.
So you got to be pretty close to be effective with it. You can double that to 20 feet, but you'll get minuses.
Well, I'm probably going to use one action this turn anyway, so I might as well just move up and give it an old flick at the spider.
Yeah, 2 strides and a throw. Ooh, so close. 16 is not a hit. The dagger goes bouncing off this thing's carapace, much like the darts did before. Uh-oh. You guys might be in trouble. It's Giant Spider's turn. And the giant spider has an enemy, a delicious meal right in front of it. So he bites at Bob Zoblin with a 17 to hit.
Nope.
A miss. Ooh, lucky Bob. Lucky Bob. Okay. He tries to bite again. How's a 19?
That is a hit.
That is a hit. Oh,
yeah.
Joy to me. Joy, joy, joy. All right, you take 6 points of piercing damage as his fangs pierce into you. And I need you to roll a fortitude save.
Ooh.
As you feel a burning at the point of injection. As the spider's venom begins to course through you.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's not good. That's just a failure. So it's not a critical failure. So you're lucky there. However, because you failed, you take an additional 2 poison damage. And you are off guard for 1 round. You have the off guard condition.
Wait, my attack would have hit then.
Huh?
Spider was off guard to me.
Spider was not off guard at the time. No.
Wait.
So Spider's second attack isn't subject to that the penalty for the multiple
It was.
attacks?
It was.
Oh, he still got a 19.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was +9 and then +4. So.
Yikes.
Yeah. It just rolled better on that second one.
I have
What
surprise
can you
attack
teach
as a
me,
rogue.
Spider, about rolling good? And you can learn.
Is surprise attack... let me look here.
You
Yes.
spring into combat faster than foes can react. On the first round of combat, if you roll deception or stealth for initiative, creatures that haven't acted are off guard to you.
Okay, then yes. In that case, he would have been off guard to you. Yes. In that case.
So I rolled a 17 to, or a 16?
It was a
to hit?
16, and he would have had a -2. So yes, that would have hit.
Ooh. I'm still figuring all this shit out. That was damage then. Fuck you, Spider.
Right, and then give me the sneak attack damage too, because it was off guard.
That's just... Oh yeah, it's just
a
1d6.
D6. Yep, an additional D6. You guys need all the extra damage you can get right now. Because
Only that you mentioned off guard that I was like, hold on a second.
yeah,
I have something for that.
he's off guard. So that said, Sardi, you are off guard for 1 round. You've taken your extra damage. The spider has used 2 of its actions, and for its 3rd action, it turns around quickly and spits webbing at Phil. Damn, does a 12 hit?
Nope.
He had a -10 on that attack, so not surprising that it missed. All right, so the webbing misses you. You definitely dodge to the side as he tries to web you up.
Did that thing just take a shit at you?
It did. It did. It rears back and hisses as it's QW Heartbone's turn.
All right, I'm gonna move up. So my first action's
Oops.
Eldritch Beast. Taste the wrath of Rin branded bottled lightning, only 40 gold, while supplies last.
A fine advertisement, and that is a hit.
Right.
Assuming the spider is in the market.
All right, the
there's
spider.
more.
Yeah, so the spider
The,
takes 4, right?
It'll take 4 for sure. The splash damage is 1, but I believe people get a save to avoid it. It's a reflex save, DC 15.
Yes.
What's the range on the splash?
So
Fire.
it's only hitting.
It's every spot around it, basically.
Oh, okay.
So really, it'd be Bob would be the only one that would have to roll a reflex save. What is your DC, Zeg? What is it?
It's 15.
Okay.
Unfortunately, did not
So,
balls.
so Bob takes 1 lightning damage as this bottled lightning strikes the spider, shocking the entire area, including the spider. To be fair, the spider takes damage too. Minus 4.
It's also off guard till the start of my next turn.
And the spider is off guard until the start of your next turn. That is good shit as far as Phil the Short is concerned. That is some good shit. Let's see. Anything else for your turn, Heartbone?
Technically still have 1 action, but
You do.
I'm going to prepare the action. Actually, no, I'm just going to draw another bottled lightning.
Yep, just pull another bottle out. That seems like a good use of that last action. And we reach the bottom of the round order, and it is Soul Knife.
Yay, I get to go.
Zeke. What are you going to do, Zeke?
Guess I'm gonna move up
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to cast Phase Bolt
Ooh, okay.
at the spider.
All right. Phase Bolt. A bolt of magical energy. Ooh, that's a hit.
Yep.
That is a hit. So
Damage.
roll damage. Yep. Ooh, that's a good one. 3d4.
That'll be 9. I believe it's
Yep.
void damage.
It is
void.
void damage, indeed. 9 void damage. And it is actually enough to kill the spider. It blasts
Yay.
through it and destroys it from the inside out. What happens to the spider as this phase bolt hits it?
So whatever light is in the cave dims for a split second, and this ball of pure black nothing comes out of Zeke's hands. And when it hits the spider, it starts to collapse in on itself, and the spider collapses into this ball of void, and then just blinks out of existence.
Oh. Implodes in on itself and blinks out of reality, basically. Oh, scary shit. That spider's seen better days. So the spider blinks out of existence after Zeke blasts it with a quick bolt from his hands. And everything grows quiet. Nothing else appears to be living in this section of the cavern. The blue light of the mushrooms returns after the phase bolt fades away.
I'm gonna pick up my dagger.
Okay.
Ready up. Drop into a sneak. And position myself up here.
Uh-huh. Okay, give me 1 second. Doing some music here. Okay, so Phil begins kind of sneaking up Yeah, don't go any further than that for a second. What's everyone else doing?
I'm gonna try and treat wounds on Bob.
On Bob?
I think it's
Okay.
to stay. Yep.
Bob is mainly trying to
Just
double
a
himself
medicine check.
out of combat state, but it's not working very well.
It is a medicine check. Oh, I can end the encounter. That ought to do it. Boop. There you go. So yeah, do a medicine check. A 26 ought to do it. All right. So what does that do for him?
Let's see. I spend 10 minutes, so it does take a little while. Mending Bob's wounds. Medicine, 15.
Okay. So
actually, a critical success.
Nice.
Probably doesn't make a difference, but he regains 4d8 hit points.
That's really good. That's really fucking good.
First level, that's amazing.
There you go.
Yeah, you get 18 hit points back.
So, Seleucos, Bob, you sit down, having taken a fairly large bite from the spider and feeling the poison coursing through you. You're a little disoriented and kind of not feeling great. Seleucos walks up to you and begins, I guess without asking, bandaging you up and fixing you up. His natural healing takes over, and this probably reminds you of another time that he's bandaged you up. It might have been for venereal disease the last time, but he's
bandaging a different area this time.
he's focusing on a different area this time, but it still feels familiar. So during this 10 minutes that Seleucos is seeing to Bob's injuries, what are Zeke and Heartbone and Phil going to be up to? And you need to be
here.
If you are planning on sneaking ahead, you need to let me know. Because
I'm gonna go sneak behind Phil. We're used to going together.
Following Phil. Okay. So Phil and QW begin sneaking away, basically right as Seleucos begins to tend to Bob.
We're keeping watch.
Just keeping watch? That's all you're doing? It's just kind of glancing?
Well,
okay.
well in stealth.
Okay. No, it's fine. That's what I'm asking is what exactly are you doing? If you want to go ahead, that is fine. I just need to know that. You know what I mean?
No, we're just going to sit here keeping an eye out just in case.
All right. So, yeah, they're standing guard, basically. Zeke, what are you up to during this 10-minute kind of rest?
I'm going to bring Misha back.
Oh, yes. Here, let me grab her for you. Pew. There you go. I need to change the name of the token to Misha. Update. That's better. And I can actually change your token name too. Update. All right. Okay, so after the 10 minutes is up and Seleucos wraps up fixing Bob's wound, his grievous spider wound, anyone else doing anything in this area?
Well, if they're all patched up, I'm gonna sneak on a little bit ahead. To about there.
Before you do that, something nags in the back of your head, and you think, I wonder what that spider had in its lair.
Treasures. Treasures.
Okay. You climb through the web.
Webs.
Anyone that wants to search the spider lair, give me a perception check.
trying to figure out where everything is.
Ah, crap.
My God, Bob or maybe Celicos or
I see nothing.
Heartbone.
I don't see anything.
Rolled pretty badly.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
I don't think I've had one good roll yet.
I got a 13.
Does
very
Misha
sad.
get a roll?
Yes, Misha gets a roll. Here, this is Misha's roll. Yep. And I assume her perception's more than +1. So, you all begin poking through the spider's lair. You see different corpses, bundles of bones and dried skin, various things like that. And Misha, you guys don't find anything useful in these bundles, just bones and skin and other various gross things. But Misha steps up and she points at one that is kind of more full looking than the others, a bundle. Perception is in your
On the left-hand side.
yeah, it's on the left of your character sheet.
Oh, I see it. That's why I couldn't see it.
Yeah, it's on its own.
Yeah.
So Misha points out one that seems to have more in it than maybe just bones. Basically, you find a more intact corpse inside that one, and it's a small reptilian-looking creature. Whoever's familiar with like Underdark creatures, or that might make a history or whatever knowledge roll anymore. I don't know what it is anymore.
I've got underworld lore.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Underworld lore. Otherwise nature, if you're so inclined. But the underworld lore is enough. You recognize this as a kobold, which are small little reptilian creatures, very similar to goblins in a lot of ways as far as their societal kind of structure and things goes. The bundle, you also notice upon digging through it, has a few items. First thing you pull out of there is a short sword with a small emerald in the pommel. The sword is not magical, but it has fine craftsmanship. If you want, you can kind of try and appraise it, or we can go over that later. There's also a healing potion that you pull out of there, or rather, you pull out a vial of liquid that QW Heartbone immediately recognizes as a normal healing potion.
That's not Rin's branded, but I'd bet it's still drink is good.
Mm-hmm. You wager it'd give you about 1d8 hit points if you were to drink it.
Okay.
And that is all you find.
Well, I'm actually going to give the short sword to the cleric.
While it is fine craftsmanship, it is a regular mundane short sword, though you feel like you might be able to sell it for a little bit of gold, what with the emerald in the pommel.
And then I'll give the healing potion to the one that kept getting stuck on the rope just in case.
Giving the healing potion to Zeke.
Yep.
All right.
He might need it.
Zeke, you have your hands on a healing potion that will heal for 1d8 healing if you were to drink it. One of my
Nice.
my go-to rules used to be regarding drinking potions, though I haven't balanced it properly for Pathfinder, but my rules used to be when it comes to potions, you got you could drink it as a bonus action or an action. This we're talking in D&D 5e terms, right? You could drink it as a bonus action or as an action. If you drink it as a bonus action, you roll for the health. If you use the full action, you get the full amount, right? So I want to do something similar for our game. I'm going to say pulling out and drinking a potion is one action, but you roll to get your result. If you use 2 actions to pull out the potion and carefully drink the potion, you get the full amount that you could have gotten. So for this potion, for example, if you use 1 action to pull it out and drink it, it's a 1d8 amount of healing. If you use 2 actions to pull it out and drink it carefully, you get 8 points of healing. Make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. So we're going to run with that for now, and if I need to balance that somehow, we will. But one moment, I'm updating Zeke here. We've got for him a thingy. Save image.
And I gave that sword to
Yeah, well,
so he has
it
a
wouldn't
backup
let me. It won't let me edit my.
Oh, I know. That's why I was.
It won't let me edit my picture.
Yeah, I know. I have
So-
to. I have to do that. It's the only way is,
Yeah,
is if I do it.
I've stowed the short sword because I'm not going to use it in the same way I'm not using the scimitar I've got in my belt. I've just called it a common short sword, the standard thing, but you'll remember it's got an emerald in it when we come
There
to
he
sell
is. There's Zeke.
That's if you've checked it correctly.
Okay. And we'll get Misha fixed up later, but now we've got at least something to look at for Zeke. Looks nice. Okay, so basically there are a couple ways that could have gone. If you had noticed the spider there before bombing anything, you could have tried to sneak through and avoid the webbing and avoid the fight altogether. Alternatively, you could start the fight, which is what you guys did. So moving on. Situations can change, etc. so forth. Okay, so you are now moving forward out of the room. After the web-infested cave, the passageway leading deeper underneath the streets of Otari appears to be mostly natural, but someone or something has worked to open the cavern and level out the floor, making the passage easily traveled. A crude barricade made from old wooden planks and part of a barrel blocks the entrance to a side tunnel. It's this up here. While the main passage continues off into the gloom.
So, what's this barrier like exactly?
So the barrier, give me a perception check if you're going to examine the barrier. Nothing. Let's see, a 10, a 20. All right. So Bob, so you don't really notice anything too much, and as you're kind of observing it, it appears to be thrown together bits of wood and various debris, possibly from the fishery basement, like broken barrel pieces and different chunks of wood. But otherwise you don't really notice anything that stands out. As you're looking at it though, Bob and Phil kind of, as they're looking at it, they also don't notice anything that stands out, but what they do notice is that they can hear some noise, a faint clattering noise coming from somewhere beyond.
I'm gonna send Misha out a little bit. She can get about 100 feet away from me without any issues.
Okay. Out where?
Probably this way.
Down this way?
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I keep saying they collide with a wall.
Yeah, the walls are kind of tight in here. You might have to like move her through very specifically. There you go.
Okay.
Okay, but before you do, so the noises were coming from down this way. Misha, you have start going down that way to see what she can see. Yes, it's very dark. Does Misha have dark vision?
Yeah. Well, so I can actually do this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cast. Come on, buddy. There you go. I'm going to cast Evolution Surge on Misha. It'll give her dark vision and low light vision.
Okay, yeah, that'll work.
And then I'm going to share senses with her.
Ah, so you can see what she sees.
Yeah.
Excellent. Hey, that'll work. Okay. All right. So you start. She starts walking down that way. Before you go on, what's everyone else want to do?
You guys share that you heard something through the blocked off passage?
Yeah, Bob does.
Yeah, there's definitely something clattering down that way. You're
He
sure of
also
that?
goes over to the barrier to see if he can determine what sort of creatures or how sophisticated the creature is that built this. It's probably not rats, probably not spiders.
No. If you had to guess, it's very crude. So if you had to guess, goblins, maybe kobolds. If someone pointed out that kobolds were in the spider's main diet, that might be them.
Phil's going stealthy, and he's going to position himself after her.
Okay.
I'm going to start dismantling the barricade, if that's something that I can do.
That is something you can do. You can very easily smash it apart if you want. If you want to try and do so quietly, then you'll need to give me a crafting or thievery check to see if you can do so quietly.
Assist in disassembling it quietly unless he's going for a more brute approach.
Yeah, it might be better if I assist you. I have a +0 to thievery.
Well, I am a skilled artisan.
Yes, crafting is also an option. General woodworking.
Bob can see, possibly because he has dark vision, all the way into the quite a long way up that hallway.
Yeah, you might.
I don't know if he's supposed to be able to see that.
No, what you can see, actually, yeah, what you would see, because you're dark vision, yeah, what you can see is that there is, in fact, a tomb back here, or what appears to be a tomb with a raised platform and a body on it.
In that case, I'll relay that to my companions around me. I'll say, hey, I think I see something up there. Something laying on a slab. Some body. Who knows?
Oh boy. Mongoose's help nets you an additional couple points. 2. So a total of 10. Alright. So you two loudly take apart the barrier. You attempt to be quiet about it, but certain creaking and snapping and various things happen that you are outside of your control and make it much louder than you intended. Meanwhile, Meanwhile, Phil and Misha are walking down the other tunnel. Right?
Yep.
So as Bob and Heartbone and Cellulose are messing
close-ish.
Oh, you're following as well. Okay. You know you probably
Yeah, I'm following a little ways behind, but
Okay.
just
So
to kind of keep that less than 100 feet.
as you approach that intersection there, off to the left, as you're coming down this way, you see a passage that leads to a large ancient wooden door that is closed. And then the tunnel continues down south into the darkness. As you get to this spot, another thing that happens is you can hear some chattering coming from down this direction.
Okay.
Basically, you can hear. Hold on, let me see. You hear what sounds like creatures very loudly banging and attempting to do something that you can't really make out just yet. But whatever it is, it involves metal on metal and a lot of noise and chattering at each other in a language that you don't understand. Unless you speak Kobold.
I do not.
I do not either.
Then they are chattering in a language that you do not understand. What do you do?
As a goblin, would it be one that that Phil might be able to recognize as what the language is, not necessarily what it...
With his underworld knowledge, he probably would recognize it as some kind of underdark language. A language of the creatures of the caves, you know? Cave creatures. Not really certain exactly what they are, but you can hazard some guesses based on what you found in the spider lair.
Misha has disappeared.
Misha's disappeared for you. I'm sorry about that. Let me give her back to you.
Just had enough for you.
That's okay. So
Okay.
I guess this large wooden door, right?
Yeah, there's a large wooden door there.
I'm gonna go ahead and stop the share senses, and I'm gonna come over here with her and see what this door's about.
Okay. Before we get to that, Phil, are you just following behind Misha and Zeke? Okay. Before we get to that, as you guys are kind of rounding that corner and approaching the door, the crew at the barricade finally finishes their loud deconstruction of said barricade. The clattering noises that you've heard before appear to be growing in intensity.
Perhaps we should hide.
Is that what you're gonna do? Beyond the barricade. Oh, actually, here, let me read this bit. Beyond the barricade, an old cavern corridor winds down into the earth, ending in an ancient burial vault lit by strange torch with blue flame. So you can see a blue light coming from down that way too. And then I'll read more if you actually go back there.
Okay.
Heartbone's got a... Go ahead.
Look at Heartbone after he says, before he tries to hide, and when he says, maybe we should hide. And I just kind of sigh, because the sun I've got hanging around my neck is glowing in bright light, and I'm a 7 foot nearly. Green lizard, so yeah. hide.
Hiding is not going to be a relatively easy thing for you to do, no. Let's see.
Heartbone, however, steps backwards into the shadows down the slope a little bit.
Okay. Okay. What are Bob and Seleucus going to do?
I'm gonna stay where I am because
the other guys who went. No, you go. You go.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say I'm gonna stay here because it's a bottleneck, so
It is.
makes sense to stay there.
All right.
Yes, I'm sure the other guys down the hall heard us crashing and bashing and breaking down the barrier. Are we out of earshot of them now? Can we hear what they're up to?
Certainly not. Well, you're not beyond earshot of them. If you were to say something, they could probably hear you. You're only about 20 feet away down a tunnel or so you could probably do a slight shout or something if you're trying to hear them. They don't appear to be making a lot of noise themselves. They appear to be walking calmly and silently. Your companions, I mean. So you can't really hear them, but you do know they went down that way, and you feel like they're probably close enough for you to still shout if you need to. So you're just gonna wait for a second? Wait and see what happens?
Yeah, I'm gonna wait and see if anything comes up out of this.
Alright. Let's move back to the other group then.
I'll sit there.
Let's move back to the other group then. So, you are at this large, ancient wooden door.
Huh?
What do you want to do?
Yes, push on it, see what happens.
Just push on it. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, push the door. Oh, actually, that ledge. I apologize. These ledges are 10 feet up. So I apologize. These ledges that were right here are 10 feet up. You gotta climb up those if you want to get up there. Just an athletics check. You're good at those.
Yeah. Fantastic, Adam.
You're so good. Just a quick athletics check from you and Misha. Oh, see, you're fine. You clamber up like a pro. You just reach up and climb up. No big thing.
Oh, there we go. Okay, cool.
You did fine. You and Misha clamber up easily enough. Okay, but yeah, I forgot about that. My bad. So at the door, and then yeah, Graskell, if you are trying to follow them, you will also have to climb up. But what do you? Are you
acrobatics?
Are you gonna? So are you gonna try and open the door, or are you just going to observe it?
Push on it, see if it opens.
Mm-hmm. The ancient wooden door creaks open on rusty hinges. Creak. It reveals a ruined chamber. Mold and rot stain every surface. On the far side of the room is a stone statue of a giant squid, its tentacles reaching towards an altar in the center of the chamber. The scum covers almost everything, but it hasn't touched the silver bowl sitting on top of the stone altar. The water in the bowl is perfectly clear.
Can I make an occult check?
If you want to learn about the shrine, you could make a religion check.
Ugh.
Hey, that's good
13.
enough. That's good enough. You identify this shrine as one dedicated to Gozra, the god of nature and the fury of the ocean. Gozra.
Okay.
Yep. So, let's see. Let's learn a little bit about Gozra, shall we? Goes Ray. Goes Ray. It's a one of those dualistic ones where they're like storm and sky, but also wave and surf. It's a god, but also a goddess. Like that kind of duality kind of god, right? Let's see. What do you know about them? Basically, they hold nature in high regard, specifically the sea and the sky.
Okay. Anything else in here?
Do you still have
Around?
detect magic going?
I can cast it right now.
I mean, you could just do it randomly, right? Well, if you were to do that, you would sense.
It's a cantrip. It's a cantrip.
Mhm.
So.
If you did that, I mean, and we can make that one of the assumptions. By the way, that's something that you just do randomly or whatever.
Sure.
It's a cantrip, so I'm not really concerned about it. But if you were to detect magic in this room, you would sense the presence of magic, specifically coming from that silver bowl.
I will go over to the bowl.
Okay. So I'm going to pause for a second there and ask Phil what he is doing.
He's just hanging out.
You're just going to watch, just wait for them to come back out?
Oh yeah, I'm waiting for them to come
Okay.
flying back out.
Okay. And then going back over to the barricade, a small amount of time has passed while he was exploring that altar. You hear, as you're standing there waiting for something to happen, you start to hear the sounds of like stone on stone, like a sliding sound almost, of stone sliding against stone. And you hear a loud crash, and then another crash, crash, crash. And then it goes silent again, aside from the clattering noises you were hearing before. Moving.
Ready.
What?
Needle darts in case
You're gonna ready needle
something
darts?
evil.
Okay.
Yeah.
If something comes out from there, you will needle dart it. Yes.
If it looks evil, if it's
Okay.
an orphan girl, I'm not gonna.
Okay. Understood. All right, Bob. Anything?
I was going to raise his shield because he can see sort of in the very far reaches of his vision some sort of.
You're seeing
slightly
movement.
Bluish dickhead.
Yeah, you are seeing
He doesn't-
movement.
he doesn't know.
You're certainly seeing
He doesn't know
movement,
exactly
and
what.
you know that one of those crashes, at least, was the lid coming off of this stone sarcophagus over here.
Yeah, something's waking up in there. I don't know what it is. I don't like it.
Evil.
Heartbone? Yep.
Can you see it?
Oh, I just see
hear from the
something
shadows.
moving back there.
Something moving. Something moving. Okay, we're cut back to Zeke.
Yo.
What are you doing with this altar? What's your plan here?
Well, I'm going to look at this bowl, kind of examine it a little bit, see if I can
Okay.
kind of determine what kind of magic it is.
Okay. Yep. It's a silver bowl, and you're getting kind of a mix, but it seems to be divine magic is predominantly present here.
A little out of my wheelhouse. So, well, I'm not going to disturb the bowl, so I'm going to go ahead and put the bowl back.
Okay.
That seems like a bad idea. Oh, you know what? Fuck it, I'm taking the bowl.
You take the bowl. Okay. You take
I'm
the
going
bowl.
to take the bowl.
As you take the bowl, you realize the minute it was removed from its altar, it loses its magical effect and turns into a mundane silver bowl. Which, I mean,
Well-
silver bowl's still worth like 5 gold. So it could still be sold for 5 gold
Well, actually,
as a
can use it-
mundane silver bowl.
I can use it for something else.
Also that. Yeah,
Um,
you've got other things. Yeah, exactly. Okay. But yeah,
I guess
otherwise
with that,
nothing
I'll go
else
ahead and just take
happens.
the bowl because it seems like a nice bowl.
Yeah. Otherwise nothing happens.
All right, I'll just go ahead and take the bowl.
Yep. All right. So you have acquired 1 silver bowl. I assume
Hey.
dumping the water out on the ground before you put it away or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Drink it.
Oh, it's too late for that.
No, I'm not gonna drink the water.
Oh, here we go. Yes.
Okay, so Zeke and Misha come walking out of the shrine. And that is that. So the clattering noise, the group that's over by the barricade. The clattering noise you are hearing gets louder and louder. And eventually you see shuffling out of this tomb back here some skelly boys. And you also see something larger standing up in the far back and begin to walk out. And they don't look happy! But we'll find out what happens next time on the Menace Under Otari Pathfinder campaign. For now, I want to thank you for being here and taking part in session 1. We're going to leave it on a cliffy, and we'll take it up with this combat the next time we play. Sound good? I want to thank everyone for being here. Thank you for taking part in my test game here. Level up, please.
Do we get any say what? Do we get any XP for this session?
You do. I'm not really keeping track of experience points. There was experience points to be had though. If you want to keep track on your end, you can. I just want to remind you that it doesn't necessarily mean you will level up every time you hit 1,000 XP exactly.
That's fair.
Just, yeah, something to keep aware of. But for defeating the giant rats, 80 experience points. For climbing down the cliff, 10 experience points. For the spider encounter, it is just the experience points for fighting the spider, which was 100 experience points. Oh wait, I'm sorry, it was 40 for the spider. My bad. 40. And other than that, you guys didn't earn any experience.
Okay.
That's it. But I'm going to mostly be keeping track of on a kind of story basis more than an actual I'll be taking the adventure path's advice on when you guys should have leveled up and such, and we'll kind of go that route, or just whenever I feel like it. But yeah, there will be levels. Don't worry about that. But no, you don't. No, dingus, you haven't even finished your first level 1 quest. You think you're gonna level up?
I've been the most optimal killer.
You get to say that you were an optimal killer. That is what you get. Congratulations.
Well, he has been the most successful.
He is.
Possibly if Bob continues to fail to make contact with anything he swings at, maybe everyone else will level up without him.
It's possible.
I feel for Ezekiel, you need to give him like an extra bonus experience point for best climber.
He got experience. What do you mean? Everyone gets 10 experience for conquering the cliff, no matter how they did it.
Yeah, but he was the super climber.
Why won't you work?
I was just playing with needle darts, trying to get that to work better, more efficiently.
No,
But
it's
I missed
okay.
anyway, so.
I'm trying to get Misha's profile pic to work, but it's not letting me do it. Let me fix it. Select. Damn it. I'll have to mess with that later, I guess. Either way, thank you all for being here and joining me for this session of Pathfinder. Join us again next time. I don't know exactly when that will be, but keep an eye on the Discord channel, and you will see.